Welcome to the channel. This is Coach Charles on Kick on Sports. It's been a while since there's an international break. But hey, nothing is changing. Nothing is changing, and we, the fans, are getting it so difficult, to just cope around because nothing is changing. And this coach is adamant his system or the highway. In fact, he was very categorical that he's not going to change. He'll change when he wants, and if you are not happy with that, change the man. So this is a clear indication that Ruben Amorim is out of his depth. He is basically out of his depth, and I cannot lie about this. This is a game that Manchester United really looked like they can get something from this game. Many coaches of United have been getting points against Pep Guardiola when they are on song, but this was a City side that was not strong. This was a City side that is weak. They have so many players injured. There are so many players out there injured. So you cannot say that the absence of Cunha is a big deal for United. This is just one player. City had like what, 5-6 players, first team players, who are not able to start this particular game. So the question is Amorim the right man for United at this moment? Because 31 points out of 31, that is a bad reading. That is a bad reading, and you can see that 31 out of 31. Nah. Anyway, consider subscribing to Kick on Sports because we are trying to do these things differently, layman's way. Anyway, I looked at this game. I watched this game for the entire 90 minutes. I watched the preview, I watched the post-match analysis, and whatever is coming out is very clear. Everyone is talking about this. Wayne Rooney said this. Theo Walcott said this. Gary Neville talked about this. Roy Keane talked about this. The absence of an additional midfielder is hurting Manchester United. The fact that we have two midfielders against three in most of the games, that is the problem right there. That is the problem right there. These are professionals. Some of them have been coaches before. They know when you're up against three defenders and you're only when you're up against two midfielders and you are two midfielders on the other side, you are in trouble. And this is Manchester City, and this is a Pep Guardiola team that knows how to play the ball. These guys can keep the ball for song, Yes, they were not in their best, but United made them look so good, So what is really stopping Ruben Amorim from changing? Because if the absence of change at United will lead to his sacking, and he should be knowing this. I don't know whether he has a clause in his contract that says that he cannot be sacked until his contract period is over. I am not sure about that. I don't think there's an owner out there who can be able to put such a clause in a manager's contract. But the truth is, this United is not functioning. This system is not working, and everyone is saying this. Rudy put it so well. He put it so well. The only thing that will lead to a United success is an additional midfielder. So either he sacrifices one of his number 10s or he sacrifices one of his defenders. But this guy loves his wing backs who are not doing anything. Yesterday I was watching this game and I wondered, there's no point in time, only once I think, when Mazrui overlapped beyond Ahmad or beyond Mbeumo. There's no point in that game where this guy overlapped. And why am I talking about overlapping? Because it is important in this system that the wing back deliver those crosses. We have one of the best headers in Europe, a young kid in Benjamin Sesko. This is a guy who can jump up to 9 feet tall. This guy can jump so high, and there is no cross that was brought in for him to attack. Not a single one from Mazrui. Then when they go to Dogu on the other side, he kept getting the balls. He kept getting in very good positions, but every time he will just recycle the ball. Every time he looked for Bruno. Every time he looked for a back pass back to Luke Shaw. So the question is, why are you a wing back if you cannot cross that ball? You cannot cross the ball, then stay away from that position. And this is where we wonder, why can Ruben Amorim see this? What do these guys, what do they train? The entire week, what are they training about? What is the training about? Even just keeping a ball in tight spaces, that is a problem. Now, look at the Erling Haaland goal where he ran right through us from the middle of the park. You know, from the middle line. This guy was all alone. Who defends like that? It was a point in time where we had like 3 defenders lined vertically. You know, they were like this. And Haaland was behind them. So when the ball was passed, come on, Harry Maguire cannot keep up with the pace of Erling Haaland. And everyone knows that. How did we get ourselves into that position? Because we lost a ball. We lost a ball where it's not supposed to be lost. Yeah? So the question is, these guys, do they even train these tight spaces? You know, the 3v1, the 3v2 kind of ball possession, the small-sided games that make football what it is. Do they even train? The rondos, what do they do in those rondos? You know, these are the questions that we need to raise to Ruben Amorim. Because this team has not gone up. This team is regressing. Whatever statisticians say out there, I don't really care about that. Because the results are showing. This team is not progressing. This team is basically dipping. And the manager is so rigid. This guy is so adamant in his 3-4-3 system that it really annoys the hell out of me. You know, you have Bruno as one of your best players. And this guy keeps playing as a deep-lying midfielder. And he's partnered with one of the, I don't know what has happened to Ugarte all of a sudden. He's no longer tackling, he's no longer passing, he's no longer winning these balls, you know. Yes, the Dogu goal was, the first goal, the Foden goal was a bit, it was a lucky kind of goal. Because Ugarte pushed his man all the way to the byline. But then the ball ricocheted back to Dogu. So there was no one to cover that space that Ugarte was supposed to be in. And Bruno is not a deep-lying midfielder. He doesn't know how to play that role. He's a number 10 through and through, all his life. Now you want to convert him at 31 to be able to play in that position. Come on, Ruben. Come on, Ruben. Come on, Sir Jim Ratcliffe. You know, I would love to see some change. Whether it is a system that changes or the manager changes, but something has to change. Something has to give. Because we cannot continue like this. This is Manchester United. We are only 2 points behind Manchester City, but the gap in play was so wide. It was so big. You'll think this is Manchester United playing against the City that was conquering all. This was a City that was beatable. It was a City that was, you know, come on, Ruben. Yeah? Make some changes. Anyway, this game should go in history as one of Ruben Amorim's lost opportunities to beat Pep Guardiola's Manchester City. And at one point I felt that the presence of Donnarumma made Manchester United players even scared of shooting. Casemiro didn't shoot, Bruno did not shoot, Ahmad did not shoot. Everyone was looking to pass because only Mbeumo tried two or three shots. Sesko had no touch in the opponent's box. It's like the presence of Donnarumma changed the shift altogether. And the question is, why do Alte make it so easy for strikers to score? You know, for the first goal, according to Peter Schmeichel, he could have just stayed put. He could have covered, but then just stood there, let the striker make his decision. But he made the decision for Haaland. Then the second one, where he was supposed to now go aggressively, he went and stood. So basically, he swapped those positioning. You know, the action that he could have done for the second Haaland goal and the first Haaland goal. You know, so these are questions you keep asking yourself. How do these people train? Who actually trains these guys? Because these guys are not good enough. So going forward, this Manchester United team has to change. We have 5 days to train for the Chelsea game. Now, if Chelsea beats us at Old Trafford, then I don't see why Ruben Amorim needs to stay at Manchester United. Right now, I'm not yet calling for his neck, but this neck is on the line. He knows this, and he has to change for him to be able to survive. That is just my feeling. That's my take. Anyway, be on the lookout for the 5 things we saw in this game, and there are quite a number of things we saw, but the 5 are the ones that really stood out. Consider subscribing to Kick On Sports. This is Coach Charles. See you in a bit.